Oh, hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. Still messing around with these little tap wrenches. The next job really has been to put a flat on these. I've set them up on a parallel and just basically taken them all down to the same thing. There's no... Hopefully you can see that, but there's no actual graduated dial on this machine. So what I've done is just put a texture mark and line the hand wheel up pretty good. It's 10 TPI, so one turn's 100th hour. The thickness of the texture mark is about a thou or a bit less, I reckon. So they're well within tolerance just doing that. And we can put a different mark on them for next time. But that's what I've done. A graduated wheel, of course, is on the list of things that need to be done to this machine. Hasn't happened yet. They only need about 50 thou or something off. And there we go. Disengage the feed. Wind it back here past the end of the clapper box. And we'll use the uni mic. Just to check where we are there. We're aiming for about 63, 64 thou, and that's about what we got. So I'm pretty happy with that. I could spend the next 6 months full time just making parts for this machine, but it seems a bit pointless maybe. I could also spend the next 6 months making parts for my lathe and the next 6 months making parts for my mill, which we're waiting on pulleys and things for that at the moment. It's another one. 2 more to go. It seems to be seated down nicely. Can't move the parallel. All nice and tight. I'll move that back to the starting position. Put the feed clutch in. And we're not even feeding there, so we'll start again. Right over the edge. Wind him back and give him a bit more feed. Good idea to check the line that you've got there and make sure the edges are parallel. If it's got a taper in it or it spreads apart on one end, then your part isn't quite lined up. So that seems to be down nice and solid and everything looks good. Time to just cut in. Seem to be doing a lot of tool making videos lately. It seems to be developing a pattern, and to be honest, I'm quite enjoying it. There's a huge list of tools for this machine and for the lathe and for the mill. At some point I've got to make a spanner for this. I've got to make a graduated hand wheel. And make some sort of a measurement system for feed this way. Stefan Gottswinter threw out a suggestion on Facebook the other night that maybe you can make my own pattern maker's rules. There's quite a lot of work to be done on the milling machine, parts and accessories and things. There's quite a lot of accessories and things for the lathe that I have planned. And there's also a sponsorship deal happening with an Australian tool supplier here as well at the moment. So there's a lot of tool making stuff happening. I feel like it's a bit overpowering on this channel. Leave a comment. Tell me what you'd like to see. I would like to be making awesome Edwardian toys, things like that. As a mix-up as well as tools. I don't get enough time to do both, and the next couple of projects will probably be tool making. But let us know what you think. I'm pretty confident that no one wants to watch hours of shaping, because that's just mind-blowing, and it's kind of it's mind-numbing, and it's a bit much for anyone. So we've probably got 2 more passes there, I think. Line that last one up. And that's the final cut. There's not a lot to come off them, and this is quite a nice machine to do the job. It does pose its own little challenges for the next operation, but we work with what we've got. And we're pretty close there, so I'm going to do the last one and give them a bit more of a clean up, and we'll have a look at them on the bench and decide what we're going to do next. So next job's give them all a bit of a preliminary clean up. I found a big bit of tool steel there, high speed steel, and just give them a rub. Try not to touch the shoulders there, and give them a bit of a clean up. And we've got them all set there with one side nice and flat and square and parallel. I've been thinking about this, and Mr. Pete did this a bit differently. He did them in a vertical milling machine, which I don't have, and he machined one side and then he drilled them, which is probably the smart thing to do with a sacrificial parallel. Probably wasn't going to happen for me, probably the best thing I can do is set these up and machine the other side, and then we're going to set them all up and drill them, or organise to drill them all nice and parallel and straight. So next job, because there's a gap under there now, if you have a look, even with this bit of high-speed steel, you can see the air gap there. It's not much. It's going to be the same on the other side. So we need to measure that gap. Probably the easiest way is just to get the slip gauges out and set these on a nice flat surface and just measure that distance under there until it sort of goes or doesn't go, and then we'll have some idea how much height we need to set these up parallel again. So I might get the gear out and do that and start looking around for some parallels that I can mess around and set up. So let's get in and do it. So we're getting these done. This is the last cut on this one, and it's the second last one to do. I think you can focus on that. Still needs a bit of a clean up, this one. All I've done is found a little shim that was 1.6 millimeters, which is about 60 thou, and I've filed the side off so it's only about 55 thou, and I've used that to set this up a little bit higher on one end. So we're running down to exactly the same thickness, or the same position on our top feed on the other side as well. So they're turning out really nice. This one needs a bit of a clean up. I'm going to do that, and I'll finish the second one and we'll have a bit of a look at them. So there we go. These are the ones that have survived so far. They still need quite a lot of clean up work. The flats need some work with some emery paper on a needle file. The tapers are all looking pretty good. That one could do with a bit of a clean up. There's a bit of work in it, but we're getting there. Absolutely, they're all nice and flat and parallel. They're all the same thickness here. I'm really pleased with the way that they've come out. Next job, I guess, is to set these up in the toolmaker's vise, and the little vise, and set the drill press up nice and neat, and center punch them all and drill them. I think I can get them accurate enough there that they're going to be nice. Have to measure a 1/4 inch tap and just make sure that it will go through, the hole will go through. And after that, it's time to put the little bird beaks in them and cut them off. Think about finishing them so that they don't go rusty, and make some screws. So we're well on the way. I'm really pleased with those. A bit more of a closer look there. Really pleased with those. We'll keep on at it. Next weekend's written off. I think I'm going to a steam event next weekend, and probably a barbecue as well. So life's a little bit crazy, But hopefully before we do that, or before we get to the weekend, we can get a little bit more done on these. So thanks for watching, and more soon. Content's been a bit sparse in the last few weeks, but we will get there, and every single little setup in these has got its own little challenges, so we just keep on keeping on. Be kind to each other, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and more soon.